Greetings, humans out there in internet land. My name is Troy Bernier from the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And today we're going to chat about the short film, The Apocalyptic Wasteland of the Crossing. And this film is brought to us by alumnus Christopher Matista, who is coming all the way. I believe you're from somewhere in the Northwest, right? I think it's somewhere in the Northwest. But this movie is about an apocalyptic wasteland where two strangers meet at a deadly impasse and must bargain for for their lives in order to survive. Very, very interesting. So let's hear more from Christopher. We have with us. There we go. Greetings, Christopher.
Hello from Los Angeles. Close. You got the coast
Oh,
right.
you're in Los Angeles now. Okay, okay, okay. I was under the impression Idaho or Utah, something like that.
Neither of those, but that's okay. I'm in California right now.
And you've always been in LA? Always been there?
From San Diego originally, and then I
Okay.
moved up to Los Angeles for film school. I went to Chapman University,
That's
and
right.
then eventually, the film industry draws us all in, right? So we ended up in Los Angeles eventually, right?
Sure, sure, sure. Awesome, awesome. Well, that's great, man. So tell us a little more. You first of all, folks, you need to know that Christopher here is alumnus, and Misi Fee, we cherish our alumni. We always are looking forward to seeing new films, new products from them, and we continue to encourage them to push their work in the genre realm, in the fantastic genre realm. Of course, the fantastic genre realm includes fantasy as well as science fiction. And of course, there's horror involved in it as well. But if you're able to combine all three of those components, you have a product that probably has really wide appeal. So, after all, this is a business, and people need to earn a living from doing this business. So we definitely continue to support filmmakers. And Christopher, you're a great example of that. So tell us a little bit more about The Crossing.
Well, I mean, before we talk about the crossing, I think we got to talk
Uh-oh.
about the alumni thing, because I don't know if you
Okay.
know this. So, and I'll speak very kindly of Miami International Science Fiction Film
Okay.
Festival, because you're right, I am an alumnus. My senior thesis in college, STEAM Rect, went to Miami Science Fiction Film Festival. And if you haven't been to this film festival, you have to go, because I went in with a notepad, and on my final day, I was like, hey, this is the first festival my film's gotten into. What do I do? They gave me a list of like 40 to apply to. And I don't know if you were tracking this, but I got into another 7 film festivals after yours off of your list. So though I'm not able to come in person, I do consider Miami Sci-Fi a home festival because of the
Wow.
help to my senior
Wow.
thesis. But
Wow.
yeah, like you said, now I'm back.
All I ask, Christopher, please leave that exact testimonial on Film Freeway.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They gave us a list. I sent my films there, and I ended up in 7 more festivals.
I like, because I had no idea what I was doing as a film student, and so to be able to go to a festival with you guys, this is your 11th
Yeah,
festival, I think it says on
yeah.
Film Freeway, right? Like, you guys have been doing this for a while, so you know your
12.
stuff.
This is number 12
This is
right
number
here.
12. Excellent.
Yeah.
Like, that's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. Yeah, gotta say nice things about you. You guys let me into your film festival.
Well, we try to have a good time here, and
Absolutely.
I have a bad habit of telling people what to do as an academic. So
Yeah. Well, hey, they should take your advice, because it worked for me.
thank you so much, Christopher.
Yeah, but
So
let's talk about the crossing. Absolutely.
yeah, please, please. So
Cool.
so
So
how so tell us why the name and what's the film about?
yeah, so the crossing. Every time I make a short film, I try to give myself an assignment, and I really wanted to, make another big science fiction, a project after film school,
Sure.
and I had written a short story in college about two strangers in the desert crossing paths, and the plot was a little different, but I
Sure.
um, wanted to expand on this short story, and I thought it'd make a good short film. And so, yeah, I present to you all The Crossing. It is a post-apocalyptic, adventure piece. We've got our two main
Yeah.
characters, hero and stranger, and
Yeah.
both are sort of forced together in this narrow canyon where they each think the other's trying to kill them, and they sort of have to navigate the difficult social situations that the apocalypse can be, especially with, scavenging and the dangers of the apocalypse itself. My assignment for my personal assignment for this project was to work on cinematography. I really wanted to be deliberate with the shots that I chose and the camera placements and the inserts and that kind of stuff. So really tried to make like a moody, vibey kind of science fiction project.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Oh, GNU came back. Hey, how you doing, GNU?
Good.
Good, good, good. Yes, there was a reboot restart thing here that everybody
Gotcha.
fell off,
No worries.
and we had to push the system live. So,
Broadcasting from space can be a little difficult, right?
there's this solar flare that keeps popping
Exactly.
up.
Exactly.
You know, the last, not to go too deep, but the last talk was very interesting. A guy using AI, a company that uses AI to make drugs.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. I mean, hot button topic right now, of course.
They spent hundreds of millions of dollars, man, and they sent a video to us.
That's hey, man.
Yeah. So
It's
let's go.
fantastic.
Let's keep going. So GNU, folks haven't introduced themselves. So GNU, is one of our MCF folks. He's an awesome player in the game here. He's a programmer, one of our programmers, and he's also a recipient himself as a filmmaker in the Russell Bates Filmmakers Awards. He pulled.
He looked a little frozen there. We might be having more solar flares.
That's weird. Um. Anyway. So we'll have to fix it. There's something going on with the internet, and I don't know what it is.
No worries.
Maybe I need to be on a VPN. So anyway, so let's show the trailer. Let's show the
Oh,
trailer.
absolutely.
How far to the end of the canyon?
About 3 days. Be in a hurry.
Wow. Where was that shot?
That was shot in Anza Borrego Desert. It's east of San Diego, south of Los Angeles. It's like across the mountains from Coachella Valley, and it is just a gorgeous location. I spent a lot of time there as a Boy Scout when I was much younger, and if you ever get a chance to go, I mean that final shot of the trailer where our character sort of walking down that slope.
Yeah.
We did that shot in 15 minutes. We're like, all right, here's a good ledge for him to stand on, and those mountains just happened to be in the background. I mean,
Bam! Right. What's the
gorgeous
name of the mountains again? What's the name of the area?
Anza Borrego Desert. It's sort of behind Laguna Mountain. It's sort of
Anza?
yeah, ANZABORR. I think it's a double R
Hold on.
EGO.
ANZAB.
BORREGO.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's out there. I mean, we were a good 45 minutes from civilization from our at our filming location, and it's this little like mountain town where they got their ATVs and stuff. Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, wildflowers and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah. I
Holy
mean,
smoke.
it is just out there. So here, zoom out a little
Oh,
bit further, and we'd be able to see. So Coachella Valley is sort of up north in that sort of farmland up there.
Yeah.
Like we're at the top of the screen, and then San Diego's a good 2-hour drive to your left. Yeah,
It is what this really boggles my mind that they're growing food in the desert.
Oh, it's California.
I personally, as a hydrologist, have a problem with that. It's
I can imagine.
irrational in the most asinine sense. But it's business, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah,
And
nice
there's
little golf course down there as well.
Yeah, look at that. How they get permits anyway? So I don't know. At least they don't have to drive. They could just fly out.
Well, it's not the biggest airport.
Wow, Borrego. Wow.
Yeah, but it is just a gorgeous part of California.
Wow. And just to give folks an idea, oh, this is way on the south side because this is the Salton
Yes.
Sea.
Yeah,
The
so
Salton
Coachella
Sea.
Valley is one of these places over here. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but,
This
and then
this is
and then
the line
yep,
between the U.S. and Mexico.
yep, and then, San Diego is directly to your left, so that's where I was
Yep.
born and raised, and so as a
And it's
kid.
Comic Con. Okay,
Yes,
great.
Comic-Con. Yes, indeed. And, so I sort of had this location in my head, and it's funny when I was filming the film I mentioned at the start of this, Steam Wrecked, my senior thesis, we sort of were looking for desert locations because it was a student film, they didn't want us to go so far away, and
Sure.
in hindsight, some of these locations, I was like, "Oh, man, I coulda shot my thesis here." So, I don't know, people kinda know that I drag them out to the desert, and they kinda know to expect that if you're working on one of my projects, it's gonna be an interesting location at the very least.
No, that's awesome. I think that's a great idea. I
Yeah.
you're doing it right, man. You're doing it
I
right.
appreciate
You're
that. Thank you.
using I tell people in particular that are in non-urban settings, I tell people to go shoot out there
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because your film is going to be very different than anybody else's. Why shoot in a room when everybody has a room?
Yeah. Well, I just find that like the biggest limiting factor for me making short films is usually the location.
Yeah,
I work at the Renaissance Fair. I got access to people who do
that's right.
costumes. I went
That's
to
right.
film school. I can find someone crazy with a camera who will come with me. But locations, if you want to build a set, you have to like rent, and that's a big cost factor. The biggest part of our budget was the Airbnb that me and
Right.
12 of my
Right.
friends all went out and had a
Right.
great time in the desert together and got to shoot a really cool project. So
Right.
I think and especially since I was a Boy Scout, I think
There you go.
man's relationship with nature is a very fun topic to explore.
Yeah.
And so, the apocalypse is a great sort of unifying condenser of human existence and things like that. Can't get over this. Yeah. No,
Oh my
it's
God.
it's it's definitely a like winter town. If you're like it's 110 in the summer easy, but in winter it's
Yeah.
actually nice. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
to go out and visit in sometime in January, maybe maybe February. But it's just a gorgeous location.
That sounds awesome. I did a little growing up just north of there.
Oh yeah?
And yeah, yeah. My dad lives in if you've heard of San Bernardino,
Sure. Oh yeah.
Loma Linda area,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but I did a little prior to that we were living in Rialto. And I'm talking about we were living in Rialto um before everybody else was there, it seemed like.
Yeah, it's a bit built up now, huh?
I spent a lot of summers in Rialto, California,
Nice.
and it was all desert. So this is I'm
Oh wow.
just to give people, an idea. One of the awesome things, folks, is that when you have tools like this, let me change this real quick. When you have, I tell folks if you have the ability to use things like Google Earth, and for location people, I highly recommend it. But
Oh
this is
yeah.
Rialto, California. And one of the nice things about using Google Earth tools, GIS tools, is that it also operates in time. So you can go back to a previous time
Ooh.
and you're going to find out that there's less and less and less
Sure.
population, right? So as we go back, you're going to start seeing more and more green space. You see that?
Yeah.
More and more
Yeah.
undeveloped green space. See?
Yep. Wow. Look at
Huge,
that.
huge pockets of areas that are not occupied yet,
Yeah.
right? So that's one of the cool things about using Google Earth. So
That's fantastic.
for
Yeah.
location and so forth. But yeah, so that's so what's next? What's next, Christopher?
Oh man, am I debuting that here? Am I revealing that? No. Um, I mentioned before I always like to give myself an assignment for projects, and I
Sure.
think my assignment for my next project is to try to make the most like marketable short film is like kind of what I'm thinking in my head.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about trying my hand at horror because
Okay.
man, they got an audience that's dedicated. And
Yeah.
I like I said, I was
Sci-fi
working
horror. Sci-fi
sci-fi
horror.
horror. Well, I'm thinking fantasy this time. Well, right now the thought is fantasy horror. I've been working at the Renaissance Fair,
Okay.
and I've joined a Scottish guild, and so I'm thinking
Okay.
maybe trying to do like period Scottish fantasy
That's right.
horror,
That's
something like
right.
that.
See how he's reducing the cost of his operations by
Oh,
borrowing,
exactly. Yes.
yeah, borrowing
Yeah.
assets. Yeah,
The
very
the one
good.
hard part is I was looking at like Scotland and Ireland and like those locations. They have pine forests,
Hmm.
but California's, at least Southern California's pine forests are all up in the mountains, and it's a very different look than most pine forests. So I'm thinking
Yes.
maybe like
Yes.
North America, like North,
Yes.
the Northwest,
Yes.
try to find like a good
Okay.
pine forest.
Very good.
Um, but yeah, like again, no buildings because if I want to do period, that's going to cost money to get period buildings. So I'm thinking, soldiers out in the field, and then something starts stalking them and hunting them or something like that. Um, is kind of what I'm thinking about. I don't know.
Make
Yeah.
sure, well, make sure that there's a good storyline carrying it,
Yes. Yes.
and character development. So there's a character arc, and with the story, and make good use of the practical effects, and
Yes.
good control of framing, so that it keeps the viewer's attention. They don't, you know, um, wander off, and a good control of the audio, right? So that's one of the aspects that make
Yeah.
horror so inviting, because they play so much with the audio, that sensory component aids the visual component so well, and that'll increase your viewer base. Just
Yeah.
just with investing in audio quality, audio mixing, framing it really nicely. That's going to help you a lot.
Yeah. The tough part is I hate horror, and I don't want to study it, but I'm already going to start, I haven't started yet, but the whole process is going to be just watching as many horror short films as possible and seeing what other people are doing. One of the I think perks of the film I just made, The Crossing, is
Yes.
I is steam racked. My thesis was about 20 minutes long, and I had a
Right.
friend who's a festival programmer for fantasy, and he didn't put my
Okay.
film in the festival. It's like, hey man, I
Okay.
want to. Why didn't you put it in? He's like, you had a great film. You didn't beat 3 other films. I prefer a good 7-minute film because then I can program it and I can show more, art. So one of the things
Yes.
for The Crossing was under 7 minutes. Was
Wow.
what I really wanted to do, and so just sort of trying to figure out what those best practices are for horror is going to be sort of my next assignment, my next place of study is going to try to figure out, okay, why is this audience so devout, so dedicated, and what tools are people using to scare the crap out of each other, or
Yeah.
scare the crap out
Well,
of me? 'Cause I'll be the scary cat.
let me also offer one more thing.
Yes, please.
When you have your first draft of your script, don't hesitate to send it to our
I
script
appreciate that.
review, and utilize our judges, because remember, one of our judges is a PhD in horror guy. That's Andrew,
Yeah.
and he's really really good at this. So you'll get a honest to goodness review. He's not just an academic; he's a publisher. He's a writer and a publisher.
Cool.
So we've got the best of the best tools in the context of horror, in under the umbrella of science fiction.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why I was saying sci-fi horror, but fantasy horror as well. So don't hesitate. Don't hesitate.
Sounds good.
And you'll probably get
Sounds
an
good.
alumni discount anyway. So,
Sure. Absolutely.
all right, now, thank you so much, Christopher. You enjoy
Absolutely.
everything, and we'll see you during the virtual festival, right?
Yep. Absolutely. I'll be tuning
Okay, great.
in.
Okay, great.
Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
again. It's The Crossing got into a online festival. It got into a convention festival. Somehow I find myself premiering at an actual in-person film festival at MCF again, and
Yes.
it's great to call you guys a home festival. So thank you for the support, and
Thank you so much.
have a good year, and I'm sure I'll be back.
Awesome. All right, buddy. See you
Take
soon.
care.
Bye bye now. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
All right, folks. Once again, MCF is doing its share in the industry and keeping it real for the filmmakers in the world. We do our best. That's our mission. And with that said, till next time. Later, people.